Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is R.S. Raghu, bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring to you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India, one of the strongest voices in the world in energy transition, asserts country's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates India Energy Week 2023 in Bengaluru. Global energy CEOs endorse India as most attractive place to invest. Indian Prime Minister unveils country's biggest helicopter manufacturing plant in Karnataka. Two massive earthquakes claim over 2,000 lives in Turkey and Syria. Indian government to dispatch rescue teams and relief materials to quake-hit region. International aid also pours in. Meeting of heads of Supreme Audit Institutes of SCO member states begins in city of Lucknow. And Indian music composer Ricky Kech creates history by winning third Grammy Award. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday inaugurated the India Energy Week 2023 at Bengaluru in Karnataka. The three-day event is aimed at showcasing India's rising prowess as an energy transition powerhouse. Speaking at the event, Prime Minister Modi urged global investors to explore investment opportunities in India's energy sector. Mr. Modi said, India is one of the strongest voices in the world in energy transition. He said the government is working on mission mode to increase natural gas consumption in India's energy mix by 2030.
हम 2030 तक अपने एनर्जी मिक्स में नेचुरल गैस कंजम्पशन को बढ़ाने के लिए भी मिशन मोड पर काम कर रहे हैं. इसे 6% से बढ़ाकर 15% करने का लक्ष्य तय किया गया है. हमारा वन नेशन वन ग्रिड ये विजन इसके लिए सभी जरूरी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर उपलब्ध कराएगा. हमारा प्रयास है कि एलएनजी टर्मिनल रीगैसिफिकेशन क्षमता को बढ़ाया जाए.
Prime Minister Modi said India has the fourth largest crude refining capacity in the world. He said India's gas pipeline network will expand to 35,000 kilometers in the next 4 to 5 years from 22,000 kilometers at present. The Prime Minister said no-go area for oil and gas exploration has been reduced by 10 lakh square kilometers. Mr. Modi said India is moving towards the target of 20% ethanol blending with petrol. The Prime Minister said another sector in which India is taking lead in the world is that of green hydrogen. The Prime Minister also launched the twin cooktop model of the Indian Oil's Indo Solar cooking system and flagged off its commercial rollout. Mr. Modi said circular economy in a way is a part of the lifestyle of every Indian. He said crores of people have come out of poverty and entered the middle class. He said India has become the second largest producer of mobile phones. The leaders from the energy sector in India and across the world met the Prime Minister of India on Monday during the India Energy Week in Bengaluru. They endorsed India as the most attractive place for exploration of oil and gas, with the country poised as a global bright spot. After the meeting, OPEC, Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, Secretary General Haitham Al-Ghai said they had an extensive discussion where they listened to the vision laid out by the Prime Minister of India. He said OPEC and its member countries stand side by side with India in helping it to deliver on its vision for the future and how energy security, affordability and accessibility plays an important role to make this vision a reality.
Be here at the India Energy Week, the 6th version. I was really happy today and honored also to meet with the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Honorable Minister of Petroleum. We had a very extensive dialogue and discussion where we listened to the views and the vision laid out by the Honorable Prime Minister for India's modernization plans, and how energy and energy security and affordability and accessibility plays an important role to making that vision come to reality. We at OPEC and our member countries, we stand side by side with India in helping India to deliver on this vision and this plan.
Vedanta Resources Chairman Anil Agarwal said India is the most attractive place for the exploration and production of oil and gas. International Energy Forum Secretary General Joseph McMoneagle said India can help the world solve the climate crisis with technology and investment made in innovation in the energy sector. He said it was delightful to listen to Prime Minister Modi in India Energy Week. SNAM chairwoman Monica David G. Lies said the main takeaways of India Energy Week are need for new energy, tenacity of industry, local demand and attractiveness of India to rest of world, which is promising. India Energy Week is being organized till the 8th of this month. The event brings together leaders from the traditional and non-traditional energy industry, governments and academia to discuss the challenges and opportunities that a responsible energy transition presents. It is witnessing the presence of more than 30 ministers from across the world. Over 30,000 delegates, 1,000 exhibitors and 500 speakers have also gathered to discuss the challenges and opportunities of India's energy future. Later on Monday, the Indian Prime Minister inaugurated country's biggest helicopter manufacturing plant at Tumkuru district in state of Karnataka. Mr. Modi also launched various development programs in Tumkuru. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister pointed out that India today manufactures from assault rifles to aircraft carriers within the country, and our armed forces are given weapons and equipment made in India. The setting up of the helicopter manufacturing unit of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited HAL in Tumkuru will help the growth of auxiliary units around the town, generate employment, and small and medium industries will thrive. The combined death toll in Turkey and Syria due to massive earthquakes has risen to over 2,000, while several thousands of people are injured in the region. A magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck at 4:17 a.m. local time in Gaziantep, about 90 kilometers from the Syrian border, while people were asleep. The region houses millions of refugees from the Syrian civil war. Turkey's disaster management agency said the death toll in the country from the morning's earthquake has risen to 1,498. Syrian authorities confirmed the death of 810 people and more than 2,000 injured. The deadly earthquake led to the toppling of hundreds of buildings. Hundreds of people were still believed to be trapped under the rubble, and the toll was expected to rise as rescue workers searched mounds of wreckage in cities and towns across the region. Millions of people across Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Cyprus and Israel felt the earthquake. Tremors from the powerful earthquake were also felt as far away as Denmark and Greenland. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said 2,818 buildings collapsed in today's quake, calling it is his country's largest disaster since 1939. Authorities said at least 20 aftershocks followed the first massive quake. Hours later, a second giant earthquake of magnitude 7.6 struck more than 60 miles away in southeastern Turkey's Kahramanmaraş region. India and other countries, along with international organizations, are rushing aid to earthquake-hit areas. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief over the loss of lives due to the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. Speaking at an event in the city of Bengaluru, Mr. Modi said India is committed to provide assistance and support to the affected people in this difficult time.
तुर्की में आए विनाशकारी भूकंप में बहुत से लोगों की दुखद मृत्यु और बहुत नुकसान की खबरें हैं। तुर्की के आसपास के देशों में भी नुकसान की आशंका है। भारत के 140 करोड़ लोगों की संवेदनाएं सभी भूकंप पीड़ितों के साथ हैं। भारत भूकंप पीड़ितों की हर संभव मदद के लिए तत्पर है।
The government of India has decided to immediately dispatch search and rescue teams of National Disaster Response Force and medical teams along with relief material to earthquake-hit Turkey. Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister, Dr. P.K. Mishra, today held a meeting to discuss immediate relief measures in light of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's instructions to offer all possible assistance to cope with the earthquake in Turkey. Two teams of NDRF comprising 100 personnel with specially trained dog squads and necessary equipment are ready to be flown to the earthquake-hit area for search and rescue operations. Medical teams are also being readied with trained doctors and paramedics with essential medicines. External Affairs Ministry in a statement said that relief material will be dispatched in coordination with the government of Turkey and Indian Embassy in Ankara and Consulate General Office in Istanbul. WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said its network of emergency medical teams has been activated to provide essential healthcare for the injured and most vulnerable affected by the earthquake. European Commissioner for Crisis Management Janez Lenarčič said the EU's 24/7 Emergency Response Coordination Center had been in contact with the Turkish authorities and had activated its emergency Copernicus satellite mapping service to help first responders working on the ground. Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis offered condolences and support to Turkey, saying Greece was mobilizing its resources and will assist immediately. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said all authorities have been instructed to make immediate preparations to provide medical and search and rescue assistance. The earthquake has badly damaged Gaziantep Castle, a historic site and tourist attraction in southeastern Turkey. Turkish state-run news agency Anadolu reported that some of the basins in east, south and southeast parts of the historical Gaziantep Castle in the central Sahinbey district were destroyed by the earthquake and the debris was scattered on the road. According to archaeological excavations, the castle was first built as a watchtower in the Roman period in the 2nd and 3rd centuries CE and expanded over time. The agency reported that the dome and eastern wall of the historical Shirvani Mosque, which is located next to the castle and is said to have been built in the 17th century, also partially collapsed. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. The Comptroller and Auditor General of India, CAG, signed 2 Memoranda of Understanding MOUs with Tajikistan and Kazakhstan on the sidelines of Shanghai Cooperation Organization Supreme Audit Institution's SCO-SAI Leaders Meeting in Lucknow today. The agreements are aimed at strengthening cooperation and facilitating exchange of expertise in the field of auditing. The MOUs will also provide a platform for the exchange of auditing professionals and technical teams, collaboration in training programs, and mutual assistance in conducting audits. The agreements are a step forward in promoting closer ties and collaboration among the Supreme Audit Institutions SAIs of the 3 nations. Speaking on the occasion, the CAG said that the signing of the Memoranda of Understanding was reaffirmation of the values and goals that India shares with Tajikistan and Kazakhstan and cementing of the existing ties. He said the SAIs are committed to cooperate within their area of competence to enhance and improve their respective external audit practices. Earlier in the day, Mr. Murmu addressed delegates on the opening day of the 6th meeting of the heads of SAIs of SCO member states in Lucknow. The Comptroller and Auditor General of India called for global cooperation to combat cybersecurity threats to auditing. He said that governments need to collaborate with private sector partners to improve cybersecurity. Our correspondent covering the event reports that the heads and delegations of Supreme Audit Institutions SAI from 4 countries, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan, are taking part in the 3-day multilateral event. The first inception meeting of the Youth 20 Engagement Group under India's G20 presidency got underway at Guwahati in Assam today. The 3-day meeting provides an opportunity to the students to voice their opinions for the audience worldwide. Speaking to AIR News, Union Minister of State for Youth Affairs and Sports, Nisit Pramanik said, through the Y20 meeting on Guwahati, Assam and northeastern states will get an opportunity to showcase the rich heritage and culture of this region to the world. Addressing media persons, Youth Affairs Secretary Meeta Rajiv Lochan said, Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Singh Thakur will take part in panel discussion with the Y20 delegates on the topic Youth Dialogue with your Minister at IIT Guwahati on Tuesday and will also launch a white paper on the concluding day. More than 150 youth delegates from G20 countries are participating in the meetings. Over 12,000 college and university students are also taking part in these events. The first Tourism Working Group meeting as part of G20 will begin at Dhordo in Kutch on Tuesday. Union Tourism Minister G. Kishan Reddy, Union Minister for Fisheries Purushottam Rupala and Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel will officially inaugurate the meeting on the 8th of February. Addressing the media at Dhordo on Monday, Secretary of the Ministry of Tourism Arvind Singh said there will be 4 tourism working group meetings that will be held as part of G20 at different places in the country. India and the European Union on Monday announced the establishment of 3 working groups under the India-EU Trade and Technology Council (TTC) and their terms of reference. They are Working Group on Strategic Technologies, Digital Governance and Digital Connectivity, Working Group on Green and Clean Energy Technologies and Working Group on Trade, Investment and Resilient Value Chains. The External Affairs Ministry in a statement said that TTC was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen during her visit to India in April last year. The TTC is a strategic coordination mechanism that will allow both partners to tackle challenges at the nexus of trade, trusted technology and security, and thus deepen cooperation in these fields between India and the EU. 108 pilgrims of South Korea will visit Buddhist sites in India and Nepal from the 9th of February to 23rd of March. The pilgrims will walk 43 days and visit Buddhist sites in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar as well as parts of Nepal. During their journey, they will cover a distance of 1,167 kilometers. Addressing a press conference in New Delhi, India's Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apurva Chandra said that the purpose of this exercise is to celebrate the 50th anniversary of diplomatic ties between South Korea and India.
I think this is a very, very important occasion, not only to increase the people-to-people contact in India and Korea, but also to popularize our Buddhist circuit as our Honorable Prime Minister has envisioned, so that more and more Buddhist pilgrims and tourists can come from countries where Buddhism is prevalent, whether it is Japan, China or any other country.
Speaking on the occasion, South Korea Ambassador Chang Jae-bok said during the pilgrimage, Buddhist monks will offer prayers for a peaceful and prosperous world. He said Buddhist teachings have much in common with the motto of India's G20 presidency of One Family, One Earth and One Future. The ambassador said India is becoming a global power these days and Korea wants to be a good partner in the progress.
This year marks the 50th anniversary of the diplomatic ties between India and Korea, and also India is the G20 presidency. So it will be a momentous year for the bilateral relations between India and Korea. So the Korean pilgrimage is the first big event, and so I'm very happy to be part of this kickoff the event.
Speaking on the occasion, Prasar Bharati CEO Gaurav Dwivedi said both Prasar Bharati and Korean broadcaster will organize various programs to reach out to their audience through content sharing.
सांस्कृतिक तौर पर बड़े लंबे समय से कोरिया और भारत के बीच में जो रिलेशंस रहे हैं उनको हम लोग भविष्य में और ज्यादा बढ़ावा दे सकें कंटेंट शेयरिंग के माध्यम से, नए नए कार्यक्रम मिलकर के साथ में तैयार करके, और जो वहाँ के भी दर्शक हैं और श्रोता हैं उन तक हम अपना कंटेंट भी पहुंचा सकें और उनका जो कंटेंट है वो हम ला करके अपने दर्शकों को भी दिखा सकें.
The Indian government has said that for the first time Hajj package costs have been reduced by around 50,000 rupees under the new Hajj policy. In a tweet, country's Minority Affairs Minister said this new landmark Hajj policy will bring financial relief to the pilgrims. It said for the first time under the new Hajj policy there will be no application charges for those applying for Hajj. And now in today's Hotspot section we bring you a news commentary on India's Neighbourhood First policy.
India's Neighbourhood First policy, initiated at the instance of Prime Minister Narendra Modi since his assumption of office in 2014, accords the highest priority to India's relations with Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, the Maldives, Myanmar, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. India maintains excellent political relations with all her neighbours. The Prime Minister had convened a meeting of South Asian leaders in the early days of the pandemic in March 2020. At the meeting, the Prime Minister had proposed setting up of a SAARC SAARC COVID-19 Emergency Fund, to which India contributed $10 million to meet the requirements of SAARC countries for urgent medical supplies and equipment. India and Bangladesh settled the land boundary issue, which had been pending for several decades. For the first time, people living till then in enclaves on either side of the border got the right of citizenship. India and Bangladesh also settled their maritime boundary through arbitration in 2014. Whether it is the India First policy of the Maldives or Sri Lanka, Shonali Adhyay, Golden Chapter in India-Bangladesh ties, B4B Bharat for Bhutan and Bhutan for Bharat Spirit, the epithets describing India's relations with its neighbours are not by coincidence. They are manifestations of our Neighbourhood First policy in action. Neighbourhood First policy has a strong economic dimension. Most common problems have the same solutions. Prime Minister Modi's vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas encompasses our neighbourhood. India's policies in the region therefore lay the greatest emphasis on augmenting connectivity, physical, economic, energy and digital. India believes that this will induce a virtuous cycle in which connectivity and growth feed each other. Connectivity within parts of our neighbourhood by road, by water, by rail and by air, and often by multimodal transport, has steadily improved. Railways between countries are causing a rapid shrinking of South Asia's geography. India and Bangladesh are connected through several rail links. India and Nepal are already connected by a rail link. The Indian energy grid is connected to Nepal, Bhutan and Bangladesh through high-capacity connections. Transnational movement of electricity in the neighbourhood is a reality. India supplies about 1,160 megawatts of power to Bangladesh, about 700 megawatts to Nepal, and imports 1.8 gigawatts from Bhutan. India has also taken the lead in creating power capacity in the region and had created 2,100 megawatts of hydropower capacity in Bhutan. More is being created. India is also constructing the 1,320 megawatt Maitri Super Thermal Power Project in Bangladesh. As part of the Neighbourhood First policy, India supports the creation of institutions and aims to improve the lives of people. India's lines of credit to its neighbours have jumped from $3.27 billion in 2014 to $14.7 billion in 2020. The bulk of India's worldwide soft lending goes to her partners in the neighbourhood. A key differentiating feature of India-supported projects in the neighbourhood is their people-centric nature. Hospitals have been built by India in Sri Lanka, the Maldives, Nepal and Afghanistan. An ambulance project in Sri Lanka, institutes of higher learning in Myanmar, construction of tens of thousands of houses after the tsunami in Sri Lanka and the earthquake in Nepal, the Supreme Court building in Mauritius, or upgradation of skills and capacities across the neighbourhood. Projects funded by India are primarily human-centric. India is the main healthcare hub for the neighbourhood. A large number of patients from neighbouring countries travel to India for affordable and world-class medical treatment. During the pandemic, India provided COVID-19 related medical items and dispatched rapid response teams to its neighbours to help them deal with the crisis. Vaccine Maitri, the complex and far-reaching effort to make India's vaccine manufacturing capacity available for the greater good of mankind at a difficult time, is Neighbourhood First policy in action. Bhutan, the Maldives, Bangladesh, Myanmar and Nepal were the first destinations for Indian-made COVID-19 vaccines. India is known as the educational hub in its neighbourhood. Thousands of students from neighbouring countries are enrolled in Indian institutions, mostly on India-funded scholarships. In the recent past, India provided humanitarian relief in the form of rice, milk powder, essential medicines, pulses, oil and other edible products, 80,000 million tons of petroleum products and special financial assistance to the tune of almost $3 billion to Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan people have warmly thanked India for the timely help. India has an established record of being a net security provider in the region. India has taken the lead in expanding maritime security in the region. Maritime domain awareness has been enhanced through linked radar systems with our Indian Ocean neighbours. India has been the first responder to many humanitarian disasters in the neighbourhood. Indian HADR, human assistance and disaster relief capacities have been rapidly and effectively deployed in response to various natural disasters in the region.
Light Combat Aircraft Navy and MiG-29K fighter aircraft on Monday successfully performed maiden landing and takeoff from India's first indigenous aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant. According to Indian Navy, the successful landing and takeoff will provide further impetus to self-reliance initiatives in the defense sector and will strengthen the country's combat preparedness. Indian music composer Ricky Kej has won his third Grammy Award at the 65th Annual Grammy Awards for his globally acclaimed album Divine Tides with rock legend Stewart Copeland. After winning his third Grammy, Ricky Kej has created history in India by becoming the only Indian to win 3 Grammy Awards. The award was announced at the live ceremony held at the Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles in the United States on Monday morning. Ricky's previous wins came in 2022 and 2015 for Best New Age Album for Divine Tides and Winds of Samsara. The music album Divine Tides is a tribute to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. In a statement, Ricky Kej said he was extremely grateful to have had another opportunity to make his country proud. In a tweet, the Grammy-winning composer said that he has dedicated the award to India. Ricky Kej is the youngest person from India to have won a Grammy Award and only the 4th Indian. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has greeted music composer Ricky Kej on winning his third Grammy Award. Sharing a tweet of Ricky Kej, the Prime Minister congratulated Ricky Kej for yet another accomplishment. In the SAF Under-20 Women's Football Championship, India will take on Nepal on Tuesday. The match between India and Bangladesh ended in a draw at Dhaka last evening. Both teams got a point each. India's domestic equity markets fell on Monday amid weak global cues. We have a report.
The Sensex declined 335 points to close at 60,507. Nifty lost 89 points to end at 17,765. Among global stock markets, Asian shares ended lower as stronger than expected U.S. jobs report renewed fears that the Federal Reserve may continue with aggressive rate hikes for longer. Hong Kong's Hang Seng tumbled over 2% amid weak corporate earnings outlook and concerns that the spy balloon incident will heighten U.S.-China tensions and provoke new sanctions against Chinese companies. South Korea's Kospi declined 1.7% and China's Shanghai Composite Index fell 0.8%. Singapore's Straits Times Index ended flat, but Japan's Nikkei 225 rose 0.7% after a report pegged Bank of Japan Deputy Governor Masayoshi Amamiya as next in line to lead the central bank. Global crude oil prices inched higher. Brent crude oil futures rose 64 cents to $80.58 a barrel, while U.S. crude gained 37 cents to $73.76 a barrel. This is Lalema Aneja Dang for World News All India Radio.
Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Straits Times reports race to save lives while survivors grapple with loss of monster quake hits Turkey, Syria. The Financial Times reports reopening of Beirut blast probe reignites feud inside Lebanon's judiciary. The Washington Post writes most Americans say Biden has not accomplished much since taking office, post-ABC poll finds. The Globe and Mail reports Canada Pension Plan CEO John Graham predicts alpha investors will outperform in the next decade. And the Japan Times reports Ukraine to replace defense minister in wartime reshuffle, top lawmaker says. And now a quick look at the headlines once again. India, one of the strongest voices in the world in energy transition, asserts country's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Inaugurates India Energy Week 2023 in Bengaluru. Global energy CEOs endorse India as most attractive place to invest. Indian Prime Minister unveils country's biggest helicopter manufacturing plant in Karnataka. 2 massive earthquakes claim over 2,000 lives in Turkey and Syria. Indian government to dispatch rescue teams and relief materials to quake-hit region. International aid also pours in. Meeting of heads of Supreme Audit Institutes of SCO member states begins in city of Lucknow. And Indian music composer Ricky Kej creates history by winning 3rd Grammy Award. And now, before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan Vaishnav Jan by artists from Turkey. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.